Oh crap, I didn't mean to do that. All right, let me play this. All right, so I don't understand. Hold on. So I need to do the painter's tape. I need to make that clip longer. Mm-mm-mm. So that's 6 seconds. Um, I'm not starting soon enough. I need to be back here somewhere. I got the strongest masking tape I could find. I don't recommend that, and I'll tell you why later on in the video. All right, and then we need one for this sander. Oh wait, no, we gotta make that clip longer too. All these clips are too short, and I don't want to be talking super fast. My stuff is on such a delay. All right, so it's 4.6 seconds. That's really not enough time, so let me try to make it like 7 seconds is good. My storage is so full, and it is such a freaking delay with everything. It's annoying. Let me start this, move this back here a little bit, and then we can start. I also needed to sand off all that old acrylic and polish, so I bought this orbital sander from Walmart. Mm-mm-mm. Back here. I needed some clear cups for mixing, so I just found those solo cups. And I'm going to be, oh, no. What are you, child? Okay, we got to get rid of that one and start over. All right, so the solo cups. I don't know why I'm like, what am I doing? Let me make all of these longer. Like, I don't know why I keep making, like, thinking 3 seconds is enough time to say what I need to say because it's not. Um, so let me like make that kind of longer. So I deleted the solo cup one. Let's start it back here. I hope everybody is able to hear me since I got headphones in. um, I guess I'm gonna see once I look at this live later. It might have to come down. Otherwise, whatever. All right, so we're on a solo cup. Let's start over. Also needed some clear cups so I could mix the resin and the paint. This is one of the paints I'm using, the white, kind of to cover up some of those stains on the tabletop. I also needed to get a sander. No, why do I have this clipped fucking twice? I'm cussing. Okay, so I already said the sander, and then I have this clip of the cup twice. For what reason? What was the reason? And now I gotta get rid of this voiceover clip one more time. This is supposed to have been quick, not taking up on my whole morning. All right, let's get it together. Focus. Okay. I also needed some clear cups so I could mix the resin and the paint. I'm going to be using acrylic paint for the colors. This is the main color, white, since it's going to cover most of those stains on the table. All right, let me play that back and see. Uh, I just realized that this window is not showing you anything. Cause be for real. Here we go. Okay. So most of the stains on the table is where I left off. So I'm just putting down my drop cloth there. I don't need to explain what I'm doing there. I'll start over here somewhere so I can voice over wiping off the tabletop. So I'm gonna sit it right there, and then hit our little microphone. Everything is so delayed. My coffee is not even hot. It's trash. So I wiped off the coffee table with 91% alcohol just to get all that dust off of there. As much dust as I can get off of there. I'm gonna sand it, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but I just needed to do it. All right. Got our voiceover there. This really should have been kind of in the beginning, and I think I'm gonna move this clip. But if I move it, I'm gonna have to move all of my voiceovers too. Do I want to do that? No, I don't. Okay. So, well, I guess I could put it here before I start to lay down the drop cloth because, yeah, because I'm not talking right there anyway. So I can start talking uh, about here and we'll do a voiceover there. Yeah. Okay. I really don't like doing voiceovers. It's not that I don't like it. It's just it's to me it's tedious and takes too long. Um, and I know I could just like type the words and have like a fake voice do it, but whatever. Anyway, um, the resin I'll be using is from Amazon. I will link it in the description as with everything else that I'm using in this video. I ordered a gallon of resin, so it's half and half. So each little component of the resin is half a gallon. So this is just me opening the box. I need to fix my cropping. My cropping is off. I don't know why, but it's off. There we go. All right, so let's do voice over here. So it came with these measuring cups, which I think are super helpful. I'm going to be using those a lot during this process. There's some other little mixing cups, um, some pumps that I think are also really helpful since these are bigger bottles. You can pump the resin components out. And it came with some gloves. I did use the gloves one time, but then I ended up switching to my heavy duty gloves that I used to do nails. So it comes in two parts. If you don't know about resin, you need to mix one part with the other part, equal parts, to make your resin and get it to harden. This is one of those little slider things to level things out. And then some like pipettes and popsicle sticks to mix everything together. The pipettes are to drop like alcohol ink, but I won't be using those really today. Not my computer getting hot and making noise. I hope that doesn't get picked up on my voiceover. All right, so now we can start our sanding. Okay, can we get off of the crop? Like, I literally don't care. Okay, so once I wiped it down, it's time to get to sanding. This sander is kind of cool because it's supposed to suck up a lot of the dust on that back part there. So here's me trying to figure out how to turn it on. Figured it out, and it's kind of loud. I'm glad I have this clip muted, but it's kind of loud, but it got the job done. I was doing the sanding and I realized I needed something a little grittier. So I needed to go to a lower grit. If you don't know, I learned this from doing nails, but the lower the grit, the more coarse any type of filing tool is. So I'm filing, I think, right here with the 80 grit, and it's doing a little bit, but it's not really doing enough. So I'm going to end up changing it out to the 60 grit. Again, the lower the grit, the more harsh it is, the more coarse it is. So yeah, I'm looking like, wait, what's going on? So this is me changing it out. This sander came with 3 or 4 sanding pads, so you can change it and see which one works better for whatever project you're doing. So now I got the 60 grit one and I'm going back in and it's working a lot better. All right. What's this clip? I don't need to really do anything with that. Let me move you back here and we'll do the next. I'm going to be making kind of a painter's well, like a frame almost with this masking tape. So I'm taping around the edges of the table. I'm realizing that I needed to use shorter clips to no, no, no. We gotta go back. We gotta get rid of that one. We were doing so well too. That's okay. So after I'm done sanding, I wanted to make kind of like a frame for the table so the resin wouldn't run all off to the sides and kind of build up that tabletop surface. I was taping long strips of tape at first, and then I realized I needed to do shorter strips. It was just easier to manage like that, and it was not going to get stuck to the drop cloth because that's the worst. And if you try to pull it off the drop cloth, you will put holes in your drop cloth, and that defeats the purpose of drop cloth because you don't want holes in it and then end up getting like resin or paint on your floor. So use shorter strips. That's my tip here. All right. Going to right here. Okay, so I ended up doing 2 different sets of strips around the top of the table. Again, I wanted to make it look like a frame to kind of keep the resin contained until I was ready to finish it off. So now we have to get our resin mixed up so we can get the process started. It's the delays for me. Mm-mm-mm-mm. I'm gonna start it right about there. So I'm going to be pumping one part of A and one part of B into separate measuring cups. I used 100 milliliters of each, so 200 milliliters total of the resin mixture. And then I was doing some research, and when you use acrylic paint, you want to use about 10 milliliters of acrylic paint. So for every 100 milliliters, so about 10%. So I ended up doing 20 milliliters of white acrylic paint to mix with the resin as well. So I used a separate measuring cup for that. You acting like I didn't finish saying something. The good thing is I'm putting music behind this, so everything that is like dead space, it'll be music there. Um, and I don't know. I was thinking about putting words, but I don't really feel like I don't even think I want to do that. I just want to just do it, and whatever captions that are auto generated will be good enough. All right. So now I'm just pouring each part of the resin mixture into that mixing cup. And once I'm done getting it all in there, I'm going to pour the white acrylic paint in there. I'm also linking that in the description if I didn't say that already, but I think I did. So, yeah, just trying to get all of the resin out of there or as much as possible. You can use your popsicle stick to kind of scrape it out of there, but I like to let it drip in there just to keep the mess down if possible. And then we're just going to dump in our white acrylic paint. And then after we get all of that out, we're going to start our mixing. All right. I don't need to tell them that I'm mixing it. Well, I guess I could tell them how long to mix it for. You want to make sure that it's mixed up really well, that, it doesn't look swirly or like marbly or anything like that. You can kind of look through the side of the glass. That's part of why I wanted to use clear cups. I could have gotten cheaper cups that were not clear, but I needed to be able to see that everything was getting mixed up pretty good. All right. Let's start you back there. Once it's all mixed up, it's time to put it on the tabletop. I'm starting where most of the major stain was on the tabletop. Actually, fun fact, I spilled glue on my nail table and I had some bottles on my table and they got stuck to the table and kind of ripped off some of the finish or the paint or whatever IKEA put on the top of this table. So we're just going to pour our white mixture over that. That's the main thing. All of this will be covered up by resin anyway with the gold or the silver, but we had to get that big stain out. So now we're going to go in with our silver and we're going to mix that up the same way we did the white, just a little bit less because it's not covering most of the table. This is sterling silver from Folk Art Paint. All right, so we're mixing that up. Okay, I'm going to say something about and it looks kind of wild right now, but I'm just kind of mixing the white and the silver together just so it doesn't just look like two big blotches of paint on the table, kind of making a marbly, swirly effect, just moving it around and kind of getting it mixed together so it looks sort of marbled. More techniques that you learn from being a nail tech. I've realized that art is art, and a lot of the techniques are pretty much the same. Then I'm just gonna go back in with some more white that I mixed up. I actually threw a little bit of silver chrome in here. I will link the silver chrome in the description as well. I didn't show it on the screen, but yeah, kind of just making my way around the table to cover up everything and get everything mixed together pretty good, but still have distinct sections on each part of the table. All right. And then the next color I'm going to go in with after I'm done kind of moving my white around is the antique gold, also from Folk Art Paint. This is also acrylic paint. I did drop a little bit of gold chrome in there and I'm swirling it around. I ended up sprinkling some chrome on top of the resin as well because you couldn't really see the chrome that great when you mix it in like that. All right, so that's me putting it on there. Nothing to see here. Same thing. Let's keep going. Da, 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 da. So we're going to keep spreading this around and you want to kind of work fast. Like I took a break and walked away from this and it kind of starts to set up fast. So you want to work as fast as possible. And then you're going to hit it with a bubble buster or a heat gun or whatever you want to call it to get all of the air bubbles out of it. I will not recommend this heat gun, but I will link it in the description. The cord is really, really short and it was kind of annoying. Also, for bigger projects like a tabletop, you probably just want something more powerful and larger so you can do more in less time because this took forever. All right. Da, 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 da. So we had to take it a step further and we are going to add some gold leaf on top of our resin. This is actually the next day after our resin has cured and is completely hard. So don't do this while your resin is still wet. You want to let it dry overnight and then do any type of additions the next day. So I'm using these foam brushes also from Walmart and some Mod Podge also from Walmart and I'm going to just use my foam brush to brush on some of the Mod Podge and don't let it dry. This is another tip. Don't let the Mod Podge dry completely. You're going to want it to still be a little bit tacky when you try to put your gold leaf on. Okay, so this, I need to cut this clip because like literally, like that's saying nothing. That's a lot of dead, like you can't even see anything. Split the clip and get rid of that clip. Okay, so this is me. When do I start? Right there. Okay, split that clip. Get rid of you. All right, cool. Let me play this. Well, I don't want to play it back. All right, we'll start there. This gold leaf I actually picked up from Michael's. It comes in sheets. And another tip for you guys, I'm telling you everything that I feel like I learned during this process. Do not get the sheets. Get the ones that are already broken up into little pieces. I'm going to be using that brush to apply it and to brush off the excess when I'm done. It was a lot of trial and error with this gold leaf, y'all. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why I say just get the kind that's already broken up into little pieces. Do not get the sheets unless the sheets are able to be peeled. But these particular sheets, you're supposed to lay it on top of the adhesive and then peel that little orange backing off. It was really a pain. Okay, so here's me brushing off the excess. It's literally everywhere. I'm gonna end up having to like blow this off with a blow dryer, like blow off all that extra gold that I don't want. I didn't want it sprinkled all over the table. So once you're done and everything is set, you're going to want to take off your masking tape. And if you have any pieces of tape stuck to the side of the table, like I did, you're going to have to sand off those excess pieces because we're going to still epoxy the sides of the table so they'll be shiny just like the top. So you don't want pieces of orange or whatever color tape stuck to the side of your table. This part wasn't really too bad, but I did realize I needed to go over some of the sides of the table with the white paint because I had really buffed off too much white paint. So again, I'm just wiping off all of my excess gold leaf, and then here I am with the blow dryer blowing off those little pieces and making sure everything is just as clean as it can be. Then I'm wiping it off with some alcohol. It's not going to do anything. The gold leaf is really on there, so it doesn't take the gold leaf off. This is me checking, making sure it's not wiping off my hard work. Okay, we got that. All right, so all right, so then I'm going in and I'm still sanding and I'm about to get ready to add some white acrylic paint to the sides. Acrylic paint dries pretty fast. Um, Actually, I can take that out. We can start this about here. So I'm just dipping my brush in a little bit of the paint. I'm making a really thin layer because I don't need that much. I just need to cover up whatever I sanded off by accident just to make it white like the top of the table. And acrylic paint is going to dry really fast. So I gave it like 10 minutes after I finished putting the acrylic paint on there before I went in with my last coat of resin. All right. We can leave that. Why is that so dark? Hold on. We need to filter you. It's supposed to be glow. It is glow and it's still dark. Okay, well, I guess that's as best as we can do. We'll say something about that. Another tip I can give is to have good lighting. The sun was going down on me, and I did not have good lighting in the room that I was in. So this one is a little bit darker, but now it's time to go in with our final coat of resin. So I mixed up this time, I think it's 400 milliliters of the resin mixture only, no paint, just the clear resin. And I spread it on there with the little spreader tool that came with the resin kit. Again, a little helpful hint for y'all. I don't recommend it. I think it's easier to either spread it with your hand with a glove on or kind of just let it spread out on its own and level out. I feel like the spreading tool makes things uneven in a lot of spots, and I had to do a lot of fighting with the resin to make sure there weren't any like dips in the top of my table or parts where the resin just was uneven. All right. Ooh, we almost at the end. Thank you, Jesus. Do, 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 do. Wait, hold on. Okay, so we let that cure overnight. So the next day, that's why it's so bright. We're tapping on it to make sure it's hard. It's going to make like a clicking sound if it's completely cured. So we dried it, and now it's time to flip the tabletop over so we can sand off any resin that may have dripped down the sides. If you don't sand that off, you're going to have those little drip marks on the underside of your table. Some people won't be bothered by that. I'm not one of those people. So I just went around the edges of the table with the sander. I didn't want to press too hard because this is an old tabletop that I was recycling. It's already kind of like cheap anyway, so I didn't want to like damage anything. This underside is almost like a cardboard. It's a thicker cardboard, but it's pretty much like cardboard. So I didn't want to do too much sanding. I just wanted to get those little resin drips off. All right. And of course, now it's time to clean up. At some point, I put the little sheet in between my plastic because I had ripped off some pieces of the plastic by accident with that tape. So that's why I told you guys to be so careful with your masking tape. And we're making sure nothing is on the floor. I'm going to go in and probably vacuum a little bit just to get everything up because now it's time for me to get ready to do the legs and start my staging process. Let's move it. Right there is good. So these are the legs that I ordered off Amazon. They are gold hairpin legs. I believe they're 14 inches. I will leave them in the description. They look really nice. The only thing I'd say is the screws that they came with are pretty small. And here is our tabletop ready to go. Mm, hold on. That shouldn't even be in there. Split the clip. Um, Let me delete that. Hopefully this actually needs to go right here. All right, cool. And then we can move you down to like right there. We'll review it in a second. I don't feel like stopping. And this is our final product. This is an old IKEA tabletop that I upcycled and made into a coffee table. It was a really fun project. It took a couple of days, to let the resin dry like you wanted and everything, but it was pretty fun and it was not that hard, really. Just try to be careful. Don't get any on your floor. Try not to get resin on yourself or in your hair. But other than that, I think it came out really, really nice. Everything that I've used in this video is linked in the description. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment and I'll try to answer them. And I will see you on the next project. All right, so we are finished with our voiceovers. Thank you, Jesus. All right, so I want to go back here and make sure this is actually. Mm, I cut off too much. I might have to redo this part. Let me see. Hello. Oh, it's already 10 o'clock. How did that happen? All right, so I do need to redo this voiceover right here because I cut it off too much by accident. I'm actually make this little bit longer. And we'll just start our voiceover situation over here. Back here. There we go. These are the hairpin legs that I ordered off Amazon. They are gold 14-inch hairpin furniture legs. They are really good quality. They're pretty heavy. I love these. The only thing I did not like is the screws that came in the box were pretty small compared to the holes. All right, so it looks good. I just need to add music. Um, out just in case nobody was able to hear me. I only use the headphones because the microphone is a lot better than just me talking out into the air and getting an echo from being in the room. Um, so let me start to play again. And that's what I don't like. I took the headphone out and it's still playing in my head. I don't know what's up with Apple and
But
everything,
it
but it
used
was
to
pretty
be
fun and it was not that
when
hard,
you
really.
take the headphone out of your ear, it realizes it's not in your ear and it won't play. But now it's like, unless it's in the case, it'll literally just keep playing. Like, what the F is that? So I don't know. But anyway, um, we need audio. So what did I think this is what I used last time. I like that one. Don't like that one. I think I've used that once. No. Okay, so this is fine. We'll use this one. So let me drag him down here. It's 3 minutes long, so I'm gonna need to duplicate it so I can use it for the entire video. So I'm gonna have to duplicate it several times and move it right up against the last clip. And I'm gonna have to. I should have did the volume. Actually, let me undo all of these pastes because I need to make the volume low on the first clip. Yeah, let me make the volume lower because I don't want it. I'm gonna do the volume like 10%. All right, let's see.
I don't recommend that, and I'll tell you why later on in the video. I also needed to sand off all that old acrylic.
Maybe 10% is too low. Let's do 25 or somewhere in there.
Acrylic and polish, so I bought this orbital sander from Walmart. I also needed some clear cups so I could mix the resin and the paint. I'm going to be using acrylic.
Actually, I want to make this shorter because I don't feel like anybody needs to see whatever was in the corner over there. Let me make sure it didn't mess anything up.
Acrylic and polish, so I bought this orbital sander from Walmart. Also,
okay, cool. So that is good on the volume, and then we're gonna copy and paste that because we want to keep our volume the same for each clip, and I don't want to have to individually do it. So I'm just pasting Command V for the entire video. And if you just keep pasting, it'll put it all the way to the end, and it's put them up against each other. So I'm gonna start it back. I'm not gonna watch the whole video. I'm just gonna see.
Welcome back, y'all. I'm about to show you how I made this cute coffee table out of an old IKEA tabletop, resin, and a few other things. So first thing you need is drop cloth so you don't get stuff all over your floor. I also got these painter's tripods to keep the tabletop elevated from the floor. I got the strongest masking tape I could find. I don't recommend that, and I'll tell you why later on in the video. I also needed to sand off all that old acrylic and polish, so I bought this orbital sander from Walmart. I also needed some clear cups so I could mix the resin and the paint. I'm going to be using acrylic paint for the colors. This is the main color, white, since it's going to cover most of those stains on the table. The resin I'll be using is from Amazon. I will link it in the description, as with everything else that I'm using in this video. I ordered a gallon of resin, so it's half and half. So each little component of the resin is half a gallon. So this is just me opening the box. So it came with these measuring cups, which I think are super helpful. I'm going to be using those a lot during this process. There's some other little mixing cups, some pumps that I think are also really helpful. Since these are bigger bottles, you can pump the resin components out. And it came with some gloves. I did use the gloves one time, but then I ended up switching to my heavy duty gloves that I used to do nails. So it comes in two parts. If you don't know about resin, you need to mix one part with the other part, equal parts, to make your resin and get it to harden. This is one of those little slider things to level things out. And then some like pipettes and popsicle sticks to mix everything together. The pipettes are to drop like alcohol ink, but I won't be using those really today. So
It was definitely something on my camera lens in some of these clips. I don't know what I did, but
off of there, as much dust as I can get off of there. I'm gonna sand it, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but I just needed to do it. Okay, so once I wiped it down, it's time to get to sanding. This sander is kind of cool because it's supposed to suck up a lot of the dust on that back part there. So here's me trying to figure out how to turn it on. Figured it out, and it's kind of loud. I'm glad I have this clip muted, but it's kind of loud, but it got the job done. I was doing the sanding and I realized I needed something a little grittier, so I needed to go to a lower grit. If you don't know, I learned this from doing nails, but the lower the grit, the more coarse any type of filing tool is. So I'm filing, I think, right here with the 80 grit, and it's doing a little bit, but it's not really doing enough. So I'm going to end up changing it out to the 60 grit. Again, the lower the grit, the more harsh it is, the more coarse it is. So yeah, I'm looking like, wait, what's going on? So this is me changing it out. This sander came with 3 or 4 sanding pads, so you can change it and see which one works better for whatever project you're.
I think I want to crop this more. They don't need to see my big A stomach. Matter of fact, I don't even know why I cropped it with Ken Burns. It should have been like um, this.
pads so you can change it and see which one works better for whatever project you're doing. So now I got the 60 grit one and I'm going back in and it's working a lot better.
Okay, so that looks good. I'm just gonna go through my clips. I'm not gonna like listen to every voiceover because some of these clips, some of these clips, it just might be stuff in here that I don't feel like is needs to be seen, like my stomach or yeah, yeah. If you're self conscious about stuff, crop it out. This is not a video on how frumpy I look. It's a video on how to make the table. So let me just go through and make sure all of my stuff is like.
And I had some bottles on my table and they got stuck to the table and kind of ripped off some of the finish or the paint or whatever IKEA put on the top of this table.
Let me see. Let me make this a little bit smaller. Again, they don't need to see my forehead.
The finish or the paint or whatever IKEA put on the top of this table.
I really wish you could skew right in iMovie, but you can't. And I was doing some research last night about it, and I'm just like, I'm not about to go into Keynote just to be able to skew my video. So like, you see how it's crooked a little bit?
Really affect.
I can skew it in InShot, but that would mean I would have to send this whole video to InShot, and this video is 28 minutes long. It's going to take up a lot of, the whole video to my iPad. It's going to take up a lot of space on my iPad, and I already need to like go through and delete some stuff. So I definitely am not about to fix the skewing issue. It's just going to have to be what it is. Yeah, I haven't made a video that was this long in quite some time. So it is what it is, y'all. All right, so it looks decent. The music is there the entire time. I'm going to export it. Hopefully it'll let me export it, but we'll see. So this is upcycled coffee table. That's fine. I'll rename it probably once I get it into YouTube. And we're doing 1080p resolution. That's just better for the fact of like getting it actually uploaded and the quality being decent. Because when you try to do, I can record in 4K. It's just that the platforms you upload stuff to don't always support 4K videos properly, and then they end up being distorted or blurry. So yeah, but yeah, that's it. I'm about to stop streaming since I'm done with my voiceover.